for his general play, for such a player, it is so poor. He's almost like a League Two player.
Inviting ball to Haaland, and he's got the better of Van den Berg, he's got the better of Kelleher.
Does Erling Haaland a lot of times have a bad touch? Yeah. Does his link-up play the best? No.
Reinders has got to the edge of the area, Haaland's in the clear, and City have scored.
I think it's bang average. I've never seen an out-and-out goal scorer not want to get involved more than Erling Haaland.
Little clip ball, Haaland's header, City are in front.
Because he isn't the player that everybody thinks he is.
He's not a good footballer. If he's not getting service and he's not doing well, his teammates are actually bypassing him.
I won the treble as 22 years old, and
if you're not looking for Haaland, he's not beneficial.
Another season, but the same Erling Haaland.
Oh, and now Haaland's through on goal, he must score, he must make it 5, he does.
At his age, no one can compete with him. No one. So the numbers speak for himself, and
he has made the toughest task in football look easy, scoring goals.
If you want to build from scratch the perfect centre forward, he is it. He is the perfect guy.
From the moment he landed in the supposed best league in the world, he has scored for fun. Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, it doesn't matter. Haaland will find a way to put the ball in the back of the net.
Haaland in the penalty area, City 2.
This is a guy who has scored everywhere he has gone, from Norway to Germany to England. No matter the league, no matter the opposition, he will score for fun. Yet I feel like he is still significantly underappreciated.
Sure, you're well aware an awful lot has been written and said about you as a player.
You think it's bang average? I think it's bang average. I genuinely do.
Every week he seems to be breaking some kind of record.
That's why I said nobody can talk to him when it comes to how early he did it.
Yet the discourse around him makes it seem like he's just some random player who got lucky.
So they're a different team and a lesser team with Erling Haaland in the team.
Got to do it in the big moments though, mate. It's like doing it at Luton on a Tuesday night in the FA Cup. Got to do it in a final.
Why not do it in a final?
Big game.
I want to see more from the greatest striker in world football off the ball, in terms of his movement, in terms of his touches, in terms of his link-up play.
Because lots of his other game need polishing. As good as this guy is, there are parts of his game that I don't think he's ever going to be the best at.
So why is one of the greatest goal scorers we have ever seen so underappreciated?
But he's taken for granted.
Yes.
Because he does it ever so well. And he makes it look easy. You're like, oh yeah, well, it's Haaland. Yeah. Well, it's not normal.
Haaland is the only player I've ever seen where the talk is more about what he can't do rather than appreciating what he's great at.
Is there more to do for him? I don't know. What is more for him to do? If you say to him to get better, what is that? From 3 goals to 6 goals? From 6 to 9?
No, that's the problem that Haaland has now, because he's not just getting judged with his goals, he's getting judged with his link-up and all-round play.
What you expect from him is goals. So if you don't get goals, you will say he didn't have a good day.
The guy is now in the top 10 top goal scorers for the Champions League, and yet the focus around him is still on his lack of touches in games.
In the first half, you only had 7 touches, 2 of those were goals. Are we underestimating how difficult that is when you're not involved in the game, but to then go and score 2 goals like that?
I still think I'm involved in the game, doing movements and giving space to others. So
in the past few seasons, Haaland has actually been more involved in City's build-up play. He's been getting more touches on the ball and just doing more. But in general, his style of play is very different than the likes of Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe, who are normally the players that he's compared to. His role in some games is to attract the attention of the defenders like a decoy, to create more space for the creative midfielders like Foden, Reinders and Doku.
I should not be interrupting them too much with all the dribblings and passes, you know. I'm a striker, so I want to be in the box as much as possible. Of course, I don't want to go out on the side. What should I do there? You know, we have other players doing that, you know, so I'm not the one that's gonna create chances. I have my role in the team.
Kane, meanwhile, plays with more finesse, which can be more aesthetically pleasing to some than Haaland's game of using pure strength and speed.
But he's not in the same planet, say, as a Harry Kane.
Harry Kane is a brilliant footballer. Haaland is a brilliant number 9, best in the world. For me, Harry Kane is the best 9-10.
Kane can create, he can get assists.
Game knowledge and his interpretation of the game is better than Haaland's.
Kane is a better forward than Haaland.
Is everything you want from a centre
Totally
forward.
agree.
Goals.
Totally agree.
Goals.
Totally,
All I want is goals.
Totally agree. But Harry Kane is more than that.
I would wager you that if you stuck Harry Kane in a Man City side, he'd score 30 plus goals.
The same thing can be said about Mbappe's style of play. His pace and dribbling make him stand out. Haaland's passing and dribbling, which has improved significantly more, have never been at the levels that you would expect from a player who was on the Ballon d'Or podium. That would be my guess for why Haaland seems to be consistently overlooked when compared to his peers.
Does Erling Haaland a lot of times have a bad touch? Yeah. Does his link-up play the best? No.
For such a player, it is so poor. Not just today, I think he has to improve that. He's almost like a League Two player.
So you're saying to us Erling should be grateful that he's doing it, but he's doing it in a Manchester City team which is super good anyway.
I've never seen an out-and-out goal scorer, not want to get involved more than Erling Haaland.
His rivalry with Mbappe has been going on since his days at Borussia Dortmund, with the majority of people believing these two would carry on the torch of Messi versus Ronaldo. Two generational players, but for most, Mbappe seems to still be the superior player.
Mbappe is more of a complete player. He can do more things than Haaland. He can do the unexpected. He will do things that you will react, wow.
You have a guy that thinks about goals. 14 games, 20 goals. The other one is all around.
I think Haaland needs a team to create him goals.
Yeah.
Mbappe does as well, but Mbappe also can go and create goals on his own.
Brilliant finisher, but Mbappe can probably just dribble on his own and do things on his own like he did in the World Cup final.
The general consensus is that Mbappe and Kane are able to score and create, while Haaland's game is more reliant on service from others. If he isn't receiving through balls or crosses, then it's difficult for the Norwegian to create chances on his own.
You're going to give me the ball? How about enough? I want to score now. I want to be the guy that's going to make the team win.
Haaland needs to be served. I told Rodri that please look for me in behind because there's space.
You said please.
I also told Bernardo Silva to put it in behind. Didn't have to.
But Haaland wasn't always like this. In fact, growing up playing for Brøndby at the age of 15, he was a player known for his technical ability and creativity. He was skinny and weak, meaning he would be bullied off the ball or pushed due to his lack of physical strength, so he relied on his skills. He hadn't gone through his growth spurt yet and found himself at a physical disadvantage, especially since he was playing against older kids.
I was with guys that were 1 year older and they were much more grown than me. So I was smaller and I was fast, but not the fastest. I was not the tallest as well, so I had to be cleverer than the others.
But he was so good that it didn't matter. What he lacked in strength, he made up with his ability on the ball and, more importantly, goal scoring. Even at that age, Haaland received criticism though. People knew he was talented, but they never thought he would become one of the best players in the world.
Lagkamerat at han skulle vinne Ballon d'Or en dag. Og da lo alle bare og tenkte at nei, det er så long shot. Men nå er han jo faktisk kandidat til å stikke av med hele Ballon d'Or.
What separated Haaland from everyone else though was his mentality. He believed in himself, worked hard, and blocked out the outside noise.
I think his self-confidence is in a way born with this.
Haaland was so good at scoring that he was eventually called up to the under-15 Norway national squad. After his impressive performances, he moved to Molde in 2017, where he would go on to score 20 goals in 50 appearances. At just 17 years old, he scored 4 goals in 1 game. But just like we're seeing these days, despite scoring goals, Haaland was criticized. Scouts and coaches felt his physique and coordination needed to develop for him to get to the next level. And that's exactly what he did. Haaland worked hard in the gym to build size, strength, and stamina. Continuing to impress, Haaland made a move to Red Bull Salzburg in January of 2019. His talent was hard not to notice, with director Christoph Freund revealing that he had been keeping tabs on Haaland for a few years now. Haaland played just 5 games from January to May for the Red Bulls, before traveling to Poland for the Under-20 World Cup. It was here that Haaland made history. If you didn't know about him before, you would have known now. Haaland scored 9 goals in Norway's 12-0 win over Honduras, finishing as the tournament's top goal scorer. Returning from the tournament, Haaland was given the starting striker role under Jesse Marsch, and he did not disappoint, scoring 11 goals in the first 6 league games of the season. He ended the season with 28 goals in 22 games, including 5 hat-tricks, one of them coming in the first half of his Champions League debut. After scoring a hat-trick against Henk, Haaland scored in the next 4 group games to become the first teenager and only the 5th player ever to score in 5 consecutive Champions League matches. Once again, in a different team, in a different league, in a different country, Haaland was still continuing to score goals. By now, every club in the world had taken notice of Haaland's incredible ability. His development had been so extraordinary and spectacular that even those around him were shocked. But there was still criticism around him. His own father admitted that despite the goals, he was still a raw player. Haaland still had to learn more about being involved in the build-up play and improving his on-ball abilities.
When I was in Salzburg, I started scoring goals there, but also, you know, if I'm realistic, look at Kylian Mbappe, he's banging goals in Liga, so, you know, you can always reach a higher level.
Right now, what Haaland needed the most, though, was consistent playing time. In a strategic move to develop Haaland's game even further, the Norwegian decided to join Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund was a young team that needed a striker, and the club had a great track record of making good players great. Fast, tall, strong, Haaland immediately took the Bundesliga by storm. He made his debut against Augsburg on the 18th of January 2020. Coming on as a second-half sub, Dortmund were trailing 3-1. Within 22 minutes, Haaland scored a hat-trick to secure a 5-3 win. In just those minutes, everyone could see that Haaland was here to take over. In fact, it was during his Dortmund days that Haaland went face-to-face with Kylian Mbappe for the first time. Dortmund was playing against PSG in the round of 16 of the Champions League. Haaland at the time was 19. He was known, but he was still considered a raw talent. Meanwhile, PSG had Mbappe and one of the best versions of Neymar. The first leg started brilliantly, with Haaland scoring 2 goals as Dortmund defeated PSG 2-1. Unfortunately, the Parisiens came back and stormed past the young Dortmund team 3-2 in the second leg. Despite the loss, Haaland had shown that he can compete with the best of them. In fact, the 19-year-old had clearly gone under the skin of the Parisiens, as Neymar and the rest of the team mocked Haaland's Zen celebration after the final whistle. But Haaland's mentality was strong.
After when PSG imitated it, did that bother you a little or nah?
No, not really.
He wasn't offended at all, and instead used the match as a learning experience and became a better player.
As you say, it was a good first leg, but the second leg was not good. I learned a lot from these 2 games.
Over the course of the next 2.5 years in Germany, the gigantic Norwegian would go on to score 86 goals in 89 games. He was no longer the skinny kid we saw at Bern, as the Norwegian imposed himself physically on every single opponent. Dortmund relied on him more on the ball, not just to score goals but to create chances. He was a very different striker than what we see at Manchester City. He even broke the top speed record in the Bundesliga by running at 36.04 kilometers per hour. The physical attributes that he once lacked were now his best qualities as he began to rise to superstardom. By now, everyone knew Haaland's name.
It does seem like everybody in world football is talking about him and would love him to sign for them.
I think that this guy can go anywhere and make things happen for anybody. Now it's him to pick and choose.
He's a striker that every big club in Europe has wanted to sign.
Yeah. It was inevitable that it was time for Haaland to move on to an even bigger club.
Breaking news here from Manchester City is that Manchester City have confirmed they've reached an agreement in principle for the signing of Erling Haaland.
They have now officially announced the signing of Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund.
The news that Erling Haaland, according to reports, is going to Manchester City.
Spoiled for choice, Haaland decided to go to Manchester City.
He has chosen to join Manchester City. He had his pick of which clubs to join.
For him, the team checked all the boxes.
The football Pep and City's been playing is unreal. You know, everyone knows it. It's the most beautiful football. And everyone knows it, and I wanted to be a part of that. And then with the best coach to be able to experience, to train with him was something I wanted.
A squad that was missing a number 9, someone to put the chances they create into the back of the net. City had also struggled in Europe. Despite being the most dominant side in England, every year they found new ways to lose. From the shocker against Lyon to losing in the final against Chelsea, City knew that they were missing something. The hope was that Haaland was the missing ingredient. Immediately, there was pressure on Haaland's shoulders.
No, it's pressure, of course. It's been pressure ever since I signed for City.
Despite his track record of scoring wherever he went, there were people who doubted whether the Norwegian can continue his form from the Bundesliga into the Premier League.
He may have actually picked the wrong club.
The doubters looked right after Haaland's debut in the Community Shield. He missed an absolute sitter, and City ended up losing 3-1 to Liverpool.
Didn't believe my own eyes, but it's gonna happen again, I think, in my career, so what can I say? Happens.
But these doubts were quickly silenced as soon as the actual season started. Haaland and City were a cheat code, and he couldn't stop scoring. Haaland made an impressive start by scoring twice in his league debut against West Ham United. Later that month, he netted his first hat-trick during a 4-2 victory over Crystal Palace. Just 4 days later, he secured another hat-trick against Nottingham Forest, setting a Premier League record as the quickest player to achieve 2 hat-tricks, surpassing the old mark by 14 matches. He shattered yet another record by scoring a hat-trick against Manchester United, becoming the first player to score 3 consecutive hat-tricks in home games for the first time in the league's history. By season's end, Haaland had accumulated 44 total goals and assists, tying Thierry Henry's record for the most goal contributions in a 38-game Premier League season. He clinched both the Premier League Golden Boot and the European Golden Shoe, having scored 36 goals in 35 games, thus setting a new record for the most goals in a Premier League season. Haaland's good form was continuing in the Champions League as well. 12 goals and 1 assist in the competition, as Haaland did exactly what he was signed for, helping City silence even Haaland's biggest haters. But now the discourse changed to Haaland's lack of involvement in big games.
Haaland on the field, who we've talked about so highly, not managing to make a proper impact in the game.
He's got to do it in the big moments though, mate.
Well,
it's like doing it at Luton on a Tuesday night in the FA Cup.
Mate,
he's got to do it in a massive game. He's got to do it in a final.
Why might do it in a final?
In a big game.
Erling Haaland is yet to register a goal or an assist in a final for Man City.
While he was exceptional in the beginning of the Champions League campaign, his stats did decrease as he failed to register a goal or assist against Madrid in the semi-finals and Inter Milan in the final. There were certain matches where Haaland had single-digit touches in the game, barely being involved. As a result, even though he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation, there was a lack of respect towards his achievements in the season. The criticism continued into the 2024 season. The way people were talking about him, you might have forgotten that Haaland won a 2nd consecutive Golden Boot and helped City clinch another Premier League title. The guy scored 27 goals while missing chunks of the season due to injury, but all the talk was about his lack of involvement in the quarterfinal match against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Haaland is now a victim of his own success. When you reach the peaks he has reached so quickly, anything below it seems underwhelming. For most players, a 20-plus goal season is the highlight of their career. For Haaland, it's an average season. I think it has also hurt him that he hasn't been at any major international tournaments. If the world sees him doing what he does for City week in, week out for Norway, at the World Cup, at the Euros, on the biggest stages, he might get more appreciation. The reality is, Haaland is doing his job at the highest level. He still has a lot of time to develop certain areas of his game to get better, but his job is to put the ball in the back of the net, and he does it better than anyone else. Even when he isn't scoring, the amount of attention he gets from defenders helps City score goals. Rodri's goal against Inter doesn't happen if someone like Haaland isn't pushing the defense back. City also now have a direct outlet when playing out from the back. That kind of work isn't going to make Haaland look good individually, but it helps the team as a whole. Wherever he goes, whoever he plays for, you cannot stop Haaland from putting the ball into the back of the net. We are seeing a generational striker in front of us. I think it's time to give him more respect. Haaland has been exceptional for City, but can he recreate an iconic moment like the Sergio Aguero goal against QPR? To relive that moment and the context behind how important that goal was for City, you have to check out this video right here.